So, Luis, on the one hand, you have all this pressure because of the money that's been spent, but on the other hand, you've got these very expensive, very talented players coming in to help your team out. Which way do you look at it?
I look excited about what I got right now in my hands. Of course, the pressure is going to be always part of the game, always on the side of the players and on the side of the manager. Everybody's going to feel that pressure. It doesn't matter if you have spent 300 million or if you are almost getting relegated, close to relegate. So at the end, the pressure is going to be always there. If you got tools, if you got argument, you got talent, it's a lot easier to manage that kind of pressure. So I'm sure that he's excited to work with all this amount of amazing players and try to close the gap. That is not going to be easy, definitely, and try to get in that top four that is far away, 10 points far away. So a lot of work to be done there, because as he mentioned, you only can play with 11 players. And we've seen Manchester City fail when it matters. We've seen Paris Saint-Germain fail when it matters. And all those teams, they are also fantastic and amazing players. So we'll see how he can manage and rotate to use the best and take the best of these players for the team.
Because that's a big added part, isn't it? There's all this money that's been spent on these players who are going to expect to play. So he's got to get his management just right now with this team, Shaka.
Yeah, and Graham Potter addressed that, saying all he can do is be open and transparent with those players. And he's absolutely right. All you can do is explain to those players your thinking, why maybe they're being left out, why maybe they're playing in a different position.
He's going to have a lot of conversations, Shaka.
Which I'm getting to, and that's fine. And while you prefer to have this kind of quality available to you that not, it's only so open and transparent you can be. and saying to somebody, listen, you're not in the starting 11, no, you're not in the travelling squad, or only for so long before even the best of intentions somehow get turned into outright anger from some of these players. So while, again, I sympathise with the position that he's been put in, and he's trying to put a positive spin on it, and he's saying all the right things. We cannot deny that. This is a headache just waiting to happen that I don't think any manager signs up for.
See, while it's actually exciting for those of us watching from the outside, it's not only exciting to see what the starting 11 is going to be, now we have to have a discussion as to who's in the squad for the game.
Yeah.
Huh? These are big decisions now for Graham Potter. And finding the balance of this team, and this is something that we talk about all the time, how the pieces fit together. You can only have that happening when you're able to find consistency on the field. You want to see the pieces come together because on the field you're seeing that this team can work well, that these pieces do work well, that these players have an understanding. And how do you develop an understanding? By being on the field together. And how do you do that when you have this many guys that you have to keep happy? Look, I suppose it's a good problem to have, that you have a whole lot of talent on the team and many options, but man, it's gonna be tricky to deal with all of this.
Jules, can Enzo Fernandez play tomorrow? Could we see that?
Yeah, he's been registered. He trained today. I was told he's available for selection, so it's down to Potter to pick him or not. We know that Zakaria, for example, is out injured. We know that N'Golo Kante, obviously, has been out for a long time. But so Jorginho is gone. So there's not many, to be fair, there's not many options in midfield for Potter. So you would think that Enzo would start tomorrow, and then we see, like Ali said, in what system, who plays next to him. We know that this is also very important. We know that he played with Argentina at the World Cup in a different way that he played with Benfica in a double pivot with Florentino Luis, who was a very defensive-minded midfielder. Next to him, they don't have someone like Florentino Luis at Chelsea right now in the squad. They can play with a midfield three like he did with Argentina, and be the holding player. But I think you still lose a lot of what his talent is, which is, the kind of basically doing everything on the pitch from midfield. So it'd be fascinating to see what Potter does. And just last thing on Potter, this is all new to him. This is not something that he's been used to before. He never had that many signing outs too soon at Swansea or at Brighton. And I mean, 7 new players in 3 weeks like that is crazy. And yet he was struggling already with the squad that he had before to find the right formula. And they've been struggling all season. Now he's got even more talent, more players, a bigger squad and finding still the right formula and the right options. He will have to learn very quickly and make the right calls very quickly.
Well, he's probably happy about it, but I'll tell you who isn't happy about the club spending is the hierarchy in La Liga.
Oh.
Here's what Chief Corporate Officer Javier Gomez had to say. He said the reality is that at La Liga, we want clubs to spend what they can afford and generate themselves. That is to say, their own revenues. The Premier League are, quote, doping the clubs. They're injecting money not generated by the club for it to spend. We are demanding that UEFA implements a new economic regulation that prevents the shareholder of a club from putting in more than a certain amount, and that it enforces the rule and sanctions non-compliant clubs. Can you fact check this for us, Jules?
Yeah, I mean, it's partly true and partly not true because, you know, a lot of the Premier League clubs have huge revenues, which La Liga know, everybody knows. The TV money in the UK is, in England, sorry, is far bigger than everybody else. I mean, basically, just to sum it up, or to round it up, they get 10 billion pounds for their TV rights, domestically and on the international scene. This is mind-blowing. If you compare it with the other leagues, it's like you put all the four big leagues together and the Premier League still gets more just for themselves. So the revenues are not so much a problem. Yes, some English clubs lose money, but they are debts that they control more or less. And a lot of the investment, by the way, are not coming from rich owners who pump their own money into the clubs. So yeah, what Chelsea are doing, but again, this response from La Liga and what Javier Tebas also said, that they're cheating and everything, it's also because of what Chelsea have been doing this January transfer window, but they are an exception. They are really an exception. If you look at Arsenal or Manchester United or Manchester City even, you know, this is not Chelsea. They have the new owners who had this idea in mind, and they've spent massive amount of money, which they say they're going to recoup, and the revenue are going to be higher, all of that. So they've got a plan. And La Liga can't make, of an exemption something more global for all English clubs in this January transfer window, because this would not be true.
Has there been a lot of talk about this in Spain, Luis, and La Liga's side of things as to what Chelsea are actually doing and spending?
Yes, of course. At the end, La Liga has been trying to implement a way of doing the things with the economic fair play here in Spain. An economic sense that they can help every single team, trying to share all the amount from revenues around the world to almost share it equally in all the teams to try to make the La Liga very competitive. And of course, when you have a look to one of the leagues or one of the best leagues in the world, and you see that a team spent 300 million, something that no one in Spain, not even putting all the teams together, is right there. It's difficult to understand. But it's true that we've seen that before with Chelsea, with Abramovich, with PSG, with Nasser, with Manchester City, when new owners arrive and put a lot of money. So if they are doing something wrong, I'm sure the FIFA will have an eye on them, because they've done it before, and they will also pay attention on that. If they can do it like this, and they've done it like this, is because the economic system that they have in the team, in the club, is working perfectly. So if not, we'll see what happened, or we've seen what happened in Italy a few years back, when suddenly the competition just blew up and all the teams lost almost everything that they had. So we'll see what happens, but it looks like Premier League continue getting better and better and stronger and stronger.
And we'll see what happens with Chelsea when they do take on Fulham in the Premier League on Friday. We'll be looking back on that game on tomorrow's show. Make sure you join us then and every single day on ESPN FC.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.